Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome inside the latest edition of Across the Cavs. It is Wednesday, March 13th. It is Tristan Thompson's birthday, turning the big 3-3. He is now eligible to play. He has served all 25 games. We'll see if he gets on the court for Cleveland as they play the smaller version of the Rockets. You know her at Sarah Knows Ball, a Cavs fan, a Guards fan. She's a Cleveland sports fan, designed some fantastic concepts. Sarah, I'm very excited to talk about the game and to get into some of your concept jerseys, which I think should absolutely be considered in any future rebrands by the Cavs and potentially down the road, the Guardians.
Yeah, that is definitely the goal. And thank you so much, Zach, for having me on here too. I'm so excited. I can't wait to talk about the Cavs and to just kind of share my jersey concepts with all of you guys. I have so much fun making these, and the response to them has just been overwhelmingly positive, and it's just really cool for me to kind of get my work out there and just have the platform that I do. So very, very excited.
We're getting into Cavs Pels, we're looking at designs and more after this. Across the Cavs on Network 216. Here we go. A night, Sarah, where the Cavaliers did not take their first free throw until the 39th minute. And by all-time history, the record says that this is the second fewest attempts in a game, at least according for the Cavs. They had 2 attempts 30 years ago in a game against the Warriors that they also won. They took 3 free throws. They were plus 48 in points on threes. Sam Merrill career high in assists. Damian Jones season high in points. Seems like while Darius and Donovan were playing together, it was the unsung heroes that we haven't talked about in quite a while that stepped up and got them a huge, huge victory tonight.
I know. I am so proud of Darius Garland, especially after, coming back from his injury. He's definitely been really shaky a couple games. He's been really hot. He's been really cold. But, I mean, take a look at his line tonight. 27 points, 6 rebounds, 11 assists, plus 23. I mean, 6 of 10 3-point. I mean, he was just all over the board tonight. And it's really good to kind of see him get back into his groove a little bit too. And, even look at our bench too. I was looking at the plus minuses. Damian Jones was plus 15. LeVert was plus 27. Merrill was plus 30. Both LeVert and Merrill had 9 assists too. And so, that's just really a huge indicator of how well they were just moving the ball tonight and just how well that offense was flowing. And it was so enjoyable to watch, especially after those rough past 2 games that we've had. They definitely needed that victory, and they just look like, the Cavs that we know and love. I mean, even without Mobley, without Strus, I think, they did an incredible job, and it was definitely a very good game all around. And the defense too, obviously. Oh my gosh, the defense was crazy, holding the Pelicans to under 100 points too. I mean, it's a true testament to how elite this team is, just on both ends of the floor, especially tonight.
And the thing that stands out to me most, Sarah, and this has been a massive trend now, and this is with both your guards back, Caris LeVert's playmaking. Now, he's been looked at as a guy who can score for you, but this has been a regular occurrence. You look at some of his recent games in the assist column. This is his last 8 games, 6, 15, 5, 7, 8, 7, 11, 9 in the assist column. He's had 4 games with at least 3 steals. In this entire run that he's had of these assists, the scoring has been down, his shot attempts have been down, but how impressed have you been with his playmaking? Because I feel like that's the one thing, for all that he's offered the Cavs at his best these last 3 years, he's never been facilitating like this. And this might have been the secret ingredient to what's been missing these last couple of years. They just came up short.
Exactly. I think a lot of people just like to look at strictly shooting stats, especially when it comes to, your 6 man and your bench too. But I mean, LeVert's literally been getting it done, especially with the passing game. I mean, that's the reason why he's in conversations for 6 man of the year. I mean, he impacts the game on those levels, other than scoring, which is so important to this team. So you definitely have to look past all that and just realize what he's doing for this team. I mean, he's definitely been great, and I'm excited to see kind of like what his role is going to be more like in this second half of the season too, just to kind of see what else he has in store.
Yeah, and there's certainly a lot to be said about the depth that the Cavs have shown throughout the season. To have Damian Jones, who's pretty much lying dormant on the bench, being a good teammate for almost 2 months, to come in these last couple of games, set a new season high in scoring multiple times in the last week. And yes, that says he hasn't had a great season, but he hasn't been asked to do much. He was the backup power forward and the backup center tonight. He essentially played the Kevin Love role of years past, where 5 minutes into a quarter, he comes in for the power forward Niang, and he stays in when Jared Allen comes out. And just for him to play 20 minutes for the first time and for the Cavs to win like that, I think says a lot. And Sarah, I think for me, a couple of stats that really say it all. Held the Pelicans to 4 threes while making 20 of their own. 38 that and 38 assists on 47 baskets, with 3 different players putting up at least 9, and being Levert, Garland, and Merrill. And I think it shows you that with everyone they've brought in and the system, how it is, that they can really be one of the best passing teams in the NBA at their best.
Exactly. I mean, it's so evident in just the chemistry that this team has together, and not even a full season of all these guys playing together. I mean, you definitely think like this is a great core that we have for the future. I'm not just talking about the starters. I'm talking about guys like Merrill and Levert, who are going to be key pieces of our team in the future. I mean, they're playing just so well together. They each know their roles, and they feed off of each other so well. And like it's so much fun to watch. It truly is.
And I really feel like out of all 30 teams in the NBA, the Let Them Know is just such a movement. It's caught on, and it's something that I find myself saying in my everyday life. If something goes my way or I'm hyping something up, just let them know. You say it to everybody.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, at the beginning of the season, I'll be honest, I didn't think that we would be sitting at number 2 in the East. But oh my gosh, I mean, look at just how hard these guys play, and they really just take that let them know to heart. I mean, it's not just a little tagline for your team. I mean, they really take it seriously, and I think they embody everything about let them know. I mean, on a nightly basis, especially, look at the Celtics and the Timberwolves, for example. They took down the 2 top teams in the East and the West. I mean, if that's not letting them know, then I don't know what is. I mean, it's incredible.
Yeah, and I will say, this is going to sound like the LeBron meme where he's just where he's like, I knew that was going to happen. I will say this, and there is record of me saying this. I reverted from this statement. I changed it after Damian Lillard was acquired by the Bucks. But my original prediction for the East was actually, and I guess this actually makes me look stupider. Worse, I should say. Never look stupid. You say what you say and you back it up. That's the fun of this. I had Bucks 1, Cavs 2, Celtics 3 before all the trades happened. And that was my original, because I thought the Bucks lost in the first round. They're going to come back with a vengeance. This was also pre-Kristaps and Drew being traded over there, based on if they were going to run it back.
Then yeah. That's had you have known that Boston would acquire Kristaps and Drew Holiday, would you have changed your rankings?
Correct, but I had the Cavs at 2. And I learned today, and then before we pivot, talking design, which I'm very excited to get into. The Celtics' best lineup from their finals run 2 years ago had a better average net rating, I think, per night by 10 points than the one they have now, which I guess makes us very lucky as an NBA collective that they don't still have Rob Williams and Al Horford with Smart, Tatum, and Brown, because they have what I think is the most complete starting lineup in a long time in the NBA. But also that other one was an average of plus 24 a game, I want to say, from what I saw from NBA University this morning. So it's crazy what they've done, and it's crazy that teams, and I will say, got to give a little love to the enemies here. Every player the Knicks have acquired by trade and free agency in the last 2 years, whether it be the main ones being OG, Dante, Brunson, Hart, have just fit in seamlessly.
And more respect to Jalen Brunson, I gotta say. I mean, as much as we love to just hate on the Knicks, I mean, I have nothing against Jalen Brunson as a player. Like the guy is amazing, and he's definitely found his place in the Knicks organization. So hats off to him, honestly. But yeah, I agree. I mean, look at guys like OG, and look at how that little skid that the Knicks went on without him because he's been
Yep.
injured so
He's
far. I
back.
mean, who would have thought that, a player like that would just cause, kind of such a big ripple effect in there. And so yeah, I do have respect for them in that regard for sure.
And he's Tom Thibodeau's new Cav legend, Luol Deng. He's got his new small power forward. He can play for 43 minutes a night. But anyway, the Knicks have done that well. The Celtics getting Derek White for Josh Richardson and Romeo Langford is highway robbery and good for them. But we move off of that because the big reason we are here. To those that don't know Sarah, and I'm going to make sure all that Sarah knows ball because those 3 words are factual. She's done some fantastic concept design jerseys. She's done both the Cavs and the guards. There are more to come. We're looking at 3 Cavs-specific jerseys. Now, I personally have no issues with the Cavs' current color scheme. I've got all different jerseys in my current repertoire. I've got one Colin Sexton in the dark black, or the black with the big C. I just ordered a DeLand jersey right now underneath here. We got Donovan Mitchell DeLand at City Edition T. We got that. I got
Speaking of
this
the
year's
Black
version.
Sea one, really quick. Sorry to interrupt, but speaking of the Black Sea one, the jersey I have of that is none other than Derrick Rose when he was on the Cavs. It was through one of those like wholesale sites, but it's like the really good quality jerseys. I went on there instantly and I bought a Derrick Rose Cavs jersey, and I'm never gonna give it away ever.
I like that. Well, hey, I just got a City Edition Craig Porter today. I don't know why. It was between him and Sam Merrill, but it ended up being Craig Porter. It's a pre-order, so I don't actually know when it's going to show up, but I assume that they'll retool eventually at some point. No, Derrick Rose is a good find. My favorite random cat. I still have my Boobie Gibson from 2011 that I got as a birthday present back then. I still wear that.
I have a Shaq one from the 2000s. That was a youth jersey that I had, but I still have that, and I love that thing too.
That's a win. What color we got for that
one? That's the wine one.
He looks really good in that jersey. I will say, before we pull out the designs, I've not worn my Cavs LeBron in a long time. At a certain point, it wasn't because I had disdain, but it was just because I feel like, as a Cavs fan, after 2010, anyone that was seen wearing LeBron gear cannot fully be identified as necessarily being a Cavs fan, right? Because it's either...
Yeah. Yep, you're absolutely right.
It was the trend. Everyone's LeBron. So when I go to a game, I saw the Cavs in Brooklyn this year, and I saw the Cavs in Cleveland. I saw them in Cleveland. I saw every jersey. I mean, we all do. We see every jersey everywhere. Although I will say, when I was in Brooklyn, I saw a handful of LeBrons. I saw another Max Strus jersey other than my own, which I was pleasantly surprised.
Wow, that's a real Cavs fan for sure. That ain't no bandwagoner.
No, and my favorite Cavs jersey ever is the orange with Cavs written across, and I saw the World Be Free jersey. I don't know why this guy was in Brooklyn, but the World Be Free orange jersey was in attendance. I don't know why. Saw him on the concourse. We chatted for about 20 seconds. Although it's my favorite jersey. Said, "Thanks, man. I just got it. I'm excited to have it." I'm like, "I bet you are. I love that jersey. It's a great jersey."
I think it was last year I went to a Guardians game, and it was on a day that the Cavs played as well. And I was walking, around the concourse, and I saw an Anthony Bennett Cavs jersey. And I was like, not only is it bad enough that you have one of those, but you're wearing it out in public in the year 2023. I was like, I had to do like a double take, a triple take, because I'm like, there's no way I'm seeing an Anthony Bennett jersey right now. But it was, that was like the shock of my life right there.
Hey, I will say, I got to go non-Cavs just to get my weirdest ones out before we actually dig in. Weirdest jerseys I have are a Bobcats Michael Kidd-Gilchrist.
Oh, wow.
We got that. We have a Chandler. Weirder than this might be the number one, though. Chandler Parsons rookie jersey, Houston Rockets. First season in the league. I got it 5 months in. I had him on my fantasy team, and he got to be in the Rising Stars. Or not Rising. He got to be in the old Shooting Stars event because Houston had a team back when they used to do it by city. And I loved Chandler Parsons. He was actually he was my favorite player before Delly came in. I've always been a big role player guy. And so I have his jersey. And then other weird one. I don't know if a Dellavedova Kings counts as weird or passionate or dedicated, but I did get a Deli Kings last season when he was there.
That's definitely not weird. That's passionate for sure. I mean, anyone who knows Deli like loves the guy, so I don't think there's anything weird about that at all.
Respect.
We love Deli in this household.
We do love Deli in this household. I got 5 Dellavedova jerseys, all different teams.
So my God, I love that.
We got the starting 5. But without further ado, all right, Sarah, we got 3 different jerseys to show. Apologies to those on the formatting. It was a big workshop before we started to try and figure out the best way with using StreamYard. So we are going to pull this out. This will also be the first time using this format. So to those watching on video, if this hurts your eyes, just put on your Eclipse glasses and keep pushing through, because it's worth it. These are jerseys you want to see. And to those that might be listening later, we will also have these in the thread as well. So we are going to, the format will change. You might not see us the way you see it right now. The layout will change. So within the next 30 seconds, we will have this correct. So bear with it. You're going to, and I believe this is the one, actually. Only took one try. And easy.
All right, there we go.
All right, wrong slide. All right. So, Sarah, take us through the first jersey, which is done in the style with Isaac Okoro.
All right. Yeah. So this one is actually the most recent Cavs jersey that I did. It was actually suggested by one of my friends on Twitter at Carson A. Merck. He suggested that I do a Kid Cudi design, and I was like, that's a really good idea, because obviously, you know, he's one of the biggest proponents of the city of Cleveland, being from here. And like the stuff he's done for the city and just the love that he has for it, it would be really cool if the Cavs were to just kind of honor that in some way. And so when you look at his whole Man on the Moon discography, I mean, they're legendary album. And so I was looking at that, and I especially loved the color scheme. And I was like, there's definitely something I can work with here. And so what I did was I took the colors straight from the album. So like the oranges, the pinks, the purples, and I wanted to kind of make it, I didn't want to make the whole jerseys those colors. I kind of wanted them to be accented that way. So I thought it would be cool if I had the font like that. I included the colors inside the font and on the sides of it to match. And then if you zoom in too, you can't really see it that well on here, but if you zoom in, I did include little like stars in the design too, to kind of give it that, obviously, that outer space kind of look. And so that's kind of the vision that I had with that. And like the purple accented on it too, just kind of completes the whole thing, I feel like. And so I went through so many different variations with this one too. I probably made at least like 5 to 6 jerseys before this one, because it was really hard to kind of like nail down what I wanted the vision to be, what I wanted to do with the colors, if I wanted to do Cleveland or like the land or CLE. And so it definitely took many, many tries, but this was the final product, and I was definitely very happy with it. I even played around with the white version too, but I definitely like it a lot better on the black, because it obviously gives that outer space kind of feel. And so it looks better with the colored accents too. So yeah, this one I was really, really happy with. And so, hey, maybe if it gets enough attention, we can at him, and maybe Kid Cudi himself will retweet it, or hey,
it'll absolutely be. We will be throwing the at. That is an absolute given, because I think you have to, and anyone named Scott that likes the Cavs is going to be pressing RT.
Yeah, that's the hope. It would be really cool if he could somehow see it. So, but like I said, I think it would be awesome if the Cavs just kind of were to do something like that, just to recognize, you know, this major superstar that we have and his connection to the city. It would just be really, really cool to honor that. So this was definitely a really fun project.
Definitely a fan of this, and I do think the next time someone is on the moon, whether they're listening to Kid Cudi or not, whether they're a Cavs fan or not, just slip the jersey into their travel pack, because sooner or later they're going to run out of things to wear up there, and all of a sudden, there's the jersey, just waiting for them, waiting to be tested, and it's going to be the first jersey that's ever been worn in space, because as far as we know, as far as we know, no one's ever worn a jersey underneath their spacesuit. So
Yes, it's a
let's
first time
make
for
it.
everything.
But I'm personally a fan. I haven't listened to Kid Cudi in a little too long, truthfully. Although every time Project X comes on, it's a free Kid Cudi opportunity. But
Oh, absolutely. Oh my gosh. I mean, who even in 2024, who still just doesn't enjoy the pursuit of happiness? Oh my gosh. Like
it's
I said,
very
just an incredible album, just an incredible artist too. I have so much respect for Kid Cudi, and so yeah, maybe it would be really cool if they were to just kind of honor him in that way. So at least give him some inspiration at Cavs.
well. Hey, at Cavs, let's also say next time you celebrate a win with the dog chain, which is actually probably happening right now, or if not a little while ago, just throw on some Mr. Rager and pull this jersey out of the bag. It's easy.
Right.
It's a win-win-win. You have to. But, okay. Jersey number 2, which we will start in full screen for a better view. Jared Allen, North Coast City Edition concept. My personal non-designer thought is this a really cool concept. It's a nice emphasis on the gold. And I feel like Jared Allen is also the perfect person to use this for. I'm a fan, and now let's get the actual detail breakdown.
Yeah, this one is definitely my personal favorite jerseys. I mean, when I was finished with this, I just sat back and I was like, yes, like I could see that being an actual legitimate jersey that they wear in a game. And I will give you a little history lesson here, just kind of a backstory on the North Coast. So it was actually a nickname that was adopted for the city of Cleveland back in the 60s as part of a Greater Cleveland Growth Board ad that wanted to promote Cleveland as more of a port city. And so they described the city as a new North Coast for America, as kind of like an economic like development ploy. And then it just really, really caught on with the city and with other businesses and stuff. And hang on, you went over to Forest City real
Yeah,
quick.
that is my mistake there. Working
You're
through
good.
something new.
No, we'll definitely get to that. Don't you worry, you guys. And then yeah, so after they kind of got that little nickname, it really started to catch on around the city. They started using it in a lot of businesses, advertisements, newspapers. So the term North Coast really, really started catching on. And so I thought that would be a really cool concept to do, because just the name North Coast just sounds cool. I mean, it just sounds cool. And so when I started with this, I first usually start with the color scheme. And so I was tossing around some ideas with another friend of mine at Guardians A's, who suggested that I use like a sandstone and a navy blue color, because not only do those colors like represent the water and the sandy shores of Lake Erie, but the sandstone is kind of also a nod to the Guardians of Traffic statues, which are made out of sandstone. So it does kind of have that dual that you know what I'm trying to say. It has like that dual meaning to it, which I think is really cool. And then another cool thing about these too is if you zoom in, I know there's all these details that are hard to see, but if you zoom in, I included a wave pattern on the actual jerseys themselves. So that's not actually just a solid navy blue color. It does have like a rolling wave pattern, which I thought looked really, really cool. And then with the way the North Coast text is kind of in a wave-like form too, I kind of wanted to do that to match the pattern of the waves. And so it's very subtle, but I'm all about subtlety. I kind of liked how that played out. And then the font North Coast itself too. I mean, I went through so many different fonts for this, trying to just find the one that I thought was perfect. And like this was the one. It just kind of gave me like coastal, like seaside vibes, really. And so I like the white font too, with the sandstone colored numbers, because originally I had them both as the sandstone, but I was like, it looks kind of weird. And so I definitely like how I accented it kind of with the white, just to kind of make it jump out a little more. And with these colors too, you know, it's unique enough to the Cavs because we do have not anymore really, but we did have the navy blue and obviously the gold colors in the Cavs team color scheme. I think the closest you would get with this one is probably the Pelicans. Like it's definitely an issue where going back to the Kid Cudi jerseys too, I did have half in mind that, oh, maybe the colors are too similar to the Phoenix Suns, but you know, it's gonna happen kind of no matter which colors you decide to go with. But I at least think that they're different enough to where they still kind of tie into the city and the colors are like symbolic themselves. So I was very happy with the North Coast ones. And like I said, those are definitely my favorites that I've done.
And if Joakim Noah offered you, Sarah, he says, hey, I like this jersey. I am going to try it. Would you dare give him something that represents Cleveland?
I don't think I could do that in good conscience. I think I will always have beef with that man. So
that's that.
Yeah, my answer's got to be no. It's
That's
a no
fair.
for me, dog.
I don't think he's figured out what you can do there yet. And I think if he goes just once to not love basketball, you know, he might. He's in Chicago. He's not that far away right now.
Yeah, hey, all it takes is one comment against the city of Cleveland. That'll set me off. Like, you're an enemy for life. I'm sorry. I can't get past that.
And when you say that, you know what you're doing right now? You're letting him know.
I am. I'm letting him know. Letting him know, Mr. Noah.
No, that's not me. Okay.
Let him know.
I don't know if that. Thankfully, that one's not catchy because if not, it would have happened. Because that would if the Cavs had let him know, not all for one until a few years ago, that would have been something to watch. But
right.
One more concept. We did get ahead. I'm gonna ask before we go into that. One more jersey here to display, the Forest City, featuring none other than a certain Evan Mobley.
Yeah, so this one was fun. This was actually one of the first Cavs jersey concepts that I've done, and so the term Forest City is really interesting too. I'll give you guys another little history lesson. So Forest City was actually a term that was coined way back in the mid 1800s by Cleveland's mayor at the time, who he implemented this tree planting program to kind of preserve the densely forested geographical region of Cleveland. So in a way, it's kind of the opposite from North Coast, because Cleveland is such a very interesting city to where we do have that coastal seaside lake feel, and then we do have a lot of dense foresty areas. And so when that term was kind of brought about in the 1800s, there was actually, fun fact, there was actually a short-lived professional baseball team in Cleveland who adopted the name the Cleveland Forest Cities. So not only was it a true nickname for the city, but there was already a sports team that actually had that name at one point. And so it's cool considering that, you know, that term has several tie-ins to the city too. And, you know, even with the metro parks too, it's a great tie-in with the metro parks. And so I thought it was a really, really cool concept to work with. And so initially with this one, I kind of struggled to come up with like a good concept for Forest City that wasn't, you know, just sticking trees on it or something, like just being too obvious. Again, I like subtlety, I like accents, and so I really wanted to kind of nail down the foresty feel with the colors. And so that's why I went with obviously a pine green and like that cream color. And again, it's, you know, it can be very similar to Milwaukee's colors, which I get that. But like I said, it's inevitable, really. But like the colors work for the theme. And so the pine green, the cream color, I thought it just was like nice, earthy tones really to work with. And so with this one too, if you zoom in on the Forest City on the front there, I did include a tree line, which is what the green is in the Forest City. So, you know, we'll include these photos on Twitter too, that you can look at these, but that's kind of another area where I wanted to really kind of nail that forest aspect without like I said, without just doing a bunch of trees like on the actual jerseys themselves, because I think that's been just very overdone and it's very basic. But I thought it looked really cool if you had that like tree line just going right through the letters there, because you can still read it. And plus it looks really cool. And so I definitely like the black too of the jerseys. I didn't want to make those a green or like a cream because it just didn't really work with like the colors. I definitely like to have that like either a black or a white like base color really, and then I like to have like the colored accents kind of bring it home, if that makes sense. So
It does.
yeah, so this one was definitely really, really successful, I think. I like the font that I use too. It's very unique in the sense that it's like modernized kind of, but like it works. Like it's a font that I feel like you would see on a basketball jersey. So when it all came together, I was like, yeah, that's it.
And we take one more look. We have the Forest City jerseys, really 3 for 3. We go front to back, the Forest City jerseys, the North Coast, and the Man on the Moon, inspired by Kid Cudi. And so, Sarah, we've got 3 here. There were others that you've already worked on. So my last question for you here is, when are these next ones coming out, A, and then B, are there any grand plans to potentially get the ones you have produced and whether wear for yourself or offer folks the opportunity to purchase?
Well, I'll answer the first question first. So I'm always looking for new ideas for these. You have my Twitter. I would love any suggestions, ideas that you guys have. A couple cool ones that have been suggested to me already is a Cleveland Orchestra theme, which I think would be really interesting to do. A Superman or a comic book theme, considering, Superman originated in Cleveland.
Yes.
So I think that would be a really fun idea to work with. Someone's mentioned eclipse themed too for the solar eclipse, or even the Sixth City, which if you follow me, I do a lot of Guardians jersey designs too. And so I have done a Sixth City jersey, which is basically kind of like a early mid 1900s Art Deco look, because in that time Cleveland was classified as the 6th largest city in the country. So it would be cool if I can do a play on that for a Cavs jersey. But those are some of the really cool suggestions that I kind of have lined up right now. And like I said, I'm always looking for more. So yeah, there's definitely lots of stuff to work with, which is cool. And then to answer your second part of that, unfortunately, I haven't really explored the route of actually creating these in actual jerseys because I really just do these for fun. If one day it reaches the right people and if the Cavs or the Guardians or whoever actually wants to adopt them or at least make a jersey kind of inspired by them, then that would be awesome. That would kind of be like the end goal for me, really. But it really just started with me just doing these for fun, just to kind of share these different aspects of the city with people who might not have known what it was about, like Forest City, North Coast. I had no idea what these were either until I started doing the research on it. So it's a cool thing to kind of bring these concepts to life. And, maybe one day, like I said, if it reaches the right people, then we can kind of take that next step and maybe we can make these into some actual jerseys or actual even t-shirts too, even. So the door's always open for that. So we'll see how it goes. Yeah.
Every idea that became a reality since the dawn of time has started out as just a concept. Oh, I'm just trying. I'm just doing this. I'm going to put my foot in. I'm going to put my name in the hat. And all of a sudden, your name, the hat yields your name. All the ideas just come flowing out, end up in reality. Every single thing. The microphone we are recording on, the laptop we're using to actually to hold the files and then publish. The water in the glass in this Cavs mug, right? This Cavs tumbler had to be an idea once. Someone may have thought it wasn't a good idea, right?
You're exactly right. Yeah, everything starts with an idea. It sure does.
Everything starts with an idea, which I think is the perfect place to leave this as we've been sharing ideas. We've been bouncing things back and forth. And yes, Sarah, I've said this 3 or 4 times, but we're going to say it one more time because that's how you always wrap up. Where can we find your work?
So you can find my work mostly through my Twitter at Sarah Knows Ball. I'm constantly sharing my stuff on there. So definitely check it out and be on the lookout for some new ideas, new concepts coming soon.
All right, folks, buckle up. Sarah knows ball. Zach Weiss across the Cavs with you as always. Coming back soon. No official set date for the next, but a couple of guests are on tap. We'll see you next time.